Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So this will be your intuitive astrology forecast for the week of September 14th to the 20th of 2025. Of course, in this video, I will intuitively tune in to my own higher self to receive guidance on each major and minor aspect that will be occurring this week. To get that guidance, of course, coming through in this video. Of course, before we head into any of this, if you are looking for any kind of a reading with me, all those links are in the description below, both live one-on-one and recorded readings as well are pre-recorded, and then I send it to Exist there. So check those out below if you are interested. Alright, and again, as I say at the beginning of all of my videos, my guidance has been and likely always will be astrology is an energetic template conducive to certain things. Meaning, astrology, the analogy that they gave me, the chart, the astrology is like a formula of math. Okay, but there's variables that exist within that formula, and we are able to change those variables, okay, because we have free will. All right, the energies exist, so things are going to happen in certain ways, but that's the infinite, creativity of the universe. That's why sometimes you can't predict the way that things are going to happen, because sometimes they're going to happen in a way that, you don't know because of certain things that it has to get worked through in a certain way to be able to have that happen, okay? Another analogy is, of course, in order to play the character of you that your higher self wanted to play in this lifetime, it had to come in at a certain time where the energies were conducive to creating that. Okay, so again, that's how this works. All right, and of course, as I get things through intuitively here, any kind of prediction that I make regarding any event or anything like that may occur is, of course, always subject to change because of free will. So again, if there's a prediction or something that I make in this video and you don't like it, we can always do something to change it. Of course, it's harder to do that on a global scale if there's, politicians and stuff involved. However, if it's something that's coming through, like maybe in a personal reading, if you get one that's on an individual level and you're looking to, look for guidance to maybe try to change something, or something comes through and you wish to change it, well, you have the power to do that because, of course, you have free will. However, how that may come about is, totally up to you and unique and whatever. Anyway, I'm rambling, so let's just jump into the charts for this week. Just pull it up on my end here, okay, and we're going to start here on Sunday, September 14th, where we're just going to have this last quarter moon here before the second new moon in Virgo, which will be an eclipse. Okay, which will happen, I believe, on the following Sunday on the 21st. All right, so let me just tune in here to this last quarter moon here. So we have the moon here in Gemini, obviously in square to the sun there in Virgo. So let me just intuitively tune in here to this last quarter moon. It honestly feels a bit chaotic. These are both of Mercury signs, okay? And it feels very like there could be a lot of like little bits of communication, okay, is kind of what that might feel like. And that, of course, that relates to this aspect of Virgo, the details of the little things. And of course, the moon being in Gemini, that aspect of, of communication. So there's all like it, and that's why maybe the energy seems chaotic, is because there's so many like things that are coming through or coming at you, or communication or whatever, that it's like, oh my god. And remember, this is a square, so it's pushing for resolution. It's the words that I'm getting is you have something to deal with, okay? There's a lot regarding this Virgo energy that, as I'm tuning in the past few weeks, is like there's a lot of stuff that just needs to get dealt with. Just a lot of stuff that is coming up that we're seeing that just needs to get dealt with. And again, this is more of that. It's kind of like this just deal with it kind of an energy that is happening here. And I think that's a lot of kind of the theme surrounding this eclipse season is stuff has to get dealt with and done. And it's like, you just deal with it. It's like, you got to deal with it now is kind of what is really coming up. So again, this is more so relating to that. Coming through. Anything else with this last quarter moon here? Okay, they're just kind of being like, no, that's the gist of it. So yeah, that's Sunday. All right, and I don't see anything else kind of peaking on this day. So let's move on here to Monday the 15th. Wow, okay, we've got a lot going on here. So, first things first, start at the top of the list. We're going to have the Sun in biquintile to Neptune retrograde. Or not Sun. What am I talking about? Venus. Wow. Well, it's in the Sun sign of Leo, okay, because the Sun rules Leo. But anyway, Venus in biquintile to Neptune retrograde. All right, let me just tune into this. Venus in biquintile to Neptune retrograde. It feels like the feminine energy is aware of the depth of certain things or understands things on a deeper level in some way regarding this Neptune retrograde. So she's able to see it for what it is. She's understanding this, and it's very it's more of like a hidden thing. It's like if somebody's talking about something and you can feel the vibe of what the real meaning behind it is. That's kind of what that feels like. Okay, so it's almost like it's not really at the forefront, like it's going to be on the news or something, but it's like you're feeling it more internally. And again, we all have both divine masculine and divine feminine energies within us. So this could be the feminine within your own self, that intuitive aspect that is able to tune into this and kind of be like, oh, okay, I hear what they're saying, but it's not matching what I'm getting about what they're actually saying. Okay, so that's that vibe. There's that understanding. As again, Venus in Leo, again, maybe that's why initially I said it's the Sun, because the Sun rules Leo, and it's that aspect of illumination, bringing to light, shining a spotlight on this, and showing this maybe for what it is in a lot of ways. And that's that feminine aspect, whether it's someone that expresses as feminine or is physically feminine, or is simply someone that's tapping into that aspect of themselves that is able to intuit or basically get this intuitive information that's truly about what is going on instead of what somebody is saying is occurring. Okay, and now anything else with this aspect? Okay, we can move on. Also, we're going to have this Mars here in biquintile to Uranus retrograde. No, Uranus now retrograde. Okay, so let me just tune into this. What this feels like is there's action that is occurring kind of behind the scenes that is relating to striking more of an appropriate balance regarding that which needs to change. There's an awareness of what needs to change, and there's this aspect of this action-oriented behavior that is seeking to find certain balance. So there's things that need to change, and through that change, it creates this aspect of balance. Okay, there's more balance that is occurring here to take action to create balance through that change that you just know that is need to be made. Now this feels like there's an awareness of this, and it's more of you're aware of it, and maybe you're not fully talking about it, but there's an awareness of it, and it's happening more, or if you're taking action on it, it's happening more of like a behind the scenes kind of a thing, and not necessarily directly out there. But it's not like you're hiding it, it's occurring. Okay, so sorry, I need a drink there. Okay, so that's kind of what that energy is or feels like. Now, anything else surrounding this? Nope, we're moving on. Okay. I asked to kind of get through this video quickly because I've got a lot to do today, so that's what they're doing. In case you're wondering, why is he going so fast? Anyways, all right, so let me, okay, next one here is Mercury in semi-sextile to Venus here as well. So I feel like there's maybe an awareness here, but let me just tune into this. Mercury in semi-sextile to Venus. It's almost like there's a communication involved here on maybe a more practical level surrounding what the feminine is getting or coming through. And I'm feeling more of maybe like surrounding the details of things. Okay, so let me tune into this a bit more. That Venus energy, I feel the depth to that, and I feel like it's with that biquintile to Neptune. All right. Now, okay, I kind of feel like maybe that's related to what I already said surrounding somebody might be talking about something maybe in a more practical way, but that feminine aspect is more so seeing it for what it actually is instead of what they think or what they think they're saying or what they're actually saying. It's like they're trying to present it in like this practical kind of a way, and it's not coming through. But what this Venus energy is doing is actually more so maybe seeing it for what it actually is and getting it in that way instead of whatever communication is coming through with this Mercury and Virgo energy. It's too it's almost like it's too limiting. This mind, this communication energy with that Virgo, it's trying to be too practical, too whatever, but it also feels like trying to cover it up, trying to make it seem practical or whatever, but maybe trying to cover up something in a sense. Whereas this feminine energy is actually seeing it for what it is. Okay, anything else surrounding that semi-sextile? Okay, no, we're moving on. Mercury is also in semi-sextile to Mars here as well. Okay, so now let me just tune into this Mercury semi-sextile to Mars. I feel almost like kind of an anger because Venus rules Libra, where Mars is. I almost feel kind of an anger through what communication is coming through because it's seen as bullshit. Okay, and it's pissing her off. So it's pissing off that feminine aspect because the feminine aspect knows deep down, because she's aware intuitively, and maybe she's able to see, because this Neptune and Pisces energy I'm being drawn to is you're actually able to see behind the manipulation and the veil, or she's seen it for what it actually is. Okay, and she's seeing beyond this manipulation, and now she's pissed off because there's a lack of balance or fairness or whatever in what this person is saying or what is coming up, and that's relating to in some way, or that feminine aspect being pissed off because that feminine aspect can actually see it for what it actually is. Yeah, and again, this is the generalization of what is coming through surrounding these energies. How specifically this could filter out down to you. This could be maybe, in a sense, what I'm feeling is maybe more on a global level, but again, it could be on a more of an individual level as well. All right. Anything else with that Mercury? And okay, no, just keep going. Okay, just keep going. Venus is also in sextile to Mars as well on this day. Okay, let me just tune into that. I feel a bit that that's where that anger or that passion in a way is coming from. It's like she's taking her own action regarding whatever is coming through because she can see it for what it is and she knows it's bullshit. Okay, so she doesn't care about what anybody else is saying. She knows and can see it for what it is, and she's doing the right thing and taking action in fairness, so to speak, because she doesn't give a flying fuck about what is coming out of somebody's mouth. Because she knows the truth, and she's not going to listen to bullshit. What? Anything else surrounding this Venus sextile Mars? No, they're saying that. Lift it away. You're good. Go on. Okay. Next up, we also have Mercury here in sextile to Juno in Scorpio. Okay, so let me just tune in a bit here to this Mercury in sextile to Juno. I don't know why. It feels like there's lies. there's lies surrounding these aspects of, like, again, Juno relates to partnerships, contracts, committed contracts, those kinds of things. But what it feels like is lies surrounding these partnerships and commitments, etc. And it's just like I said, let me just tune in again here. Somebody's trying to lie. It's almost like because either they want something changed, or because there's changes, again, transformations that can occur with this Juno and Scorpio that they're not wanting to happen. And so they're trying to make things look practical in a certain way through communication so that that doesn't occur. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Anything else with this aspect? On a positive level, this can lead. On a positive level, outside of that, this awareness and communication of details can actually lead to transformations and proper changes regarding whatever these committed partnerships, contracts, business contracts, marriages, whatever actually are. Okay, but I'm just, yeah. Anything else surrounding that now, Margaret? Okay, no, they're moving me away from it. So yeah, so there's two things surrounding that. I guess they just wanted me to present both. All right. Also, now we're going to have Venus in square to Juno as well. So let me just tune into this. Venus in square to Juno. It's like she knows the changes that are needing to transform and that occur here within these partnerships, and she's kind of willing to do it, okay? Because the square is pushing for that resolution, that action, etc. And she's willing to actually, this feminine aspect is willing to put in the change to change these contracts, commitments, whatever that needs to occur in order to transform them in an appropriate way, is honestly what that feels like, because the feminine is aware. As she's in Leo, there's a masculine energy here that's wanting to kind of take care of this, but she's existing within that energy and doing that. And what I mean is that masculine energy of Leo of wanting to take action is really what I'm trying to say. But she's willing to do that through what she sees and understands, and is able to wanting to transform and change here. Is there anything else surrounding this aspect? No, they're taking me away from it, so that's all right. Also, we're going to have Mars in this semi-sextile to Juno as well. Okay, so let's tune in this Mars in semi-sextile to Juno. Partially, I feel like that's maybe related to that feminine energy wanting to take action, but there's an action here. Okay, it feels somewhat like there's something negative has occurred, and there's action needing to be taken to strive for more of a balanced approach to whatever these business partnerships, contracts are, etc., and how they need to transform and change in that way. All right, moving forward. Okay, anything else surrounding that? It's a very strong feminine energy that's wanting to actually take it and do it. Now, whether that occurs through a physical woman or someone who's presenting as feminine, or whether it's a feminine aspect in someone that's actually wanting to express in this way, it can happen in all those ways, okay? Anything else surrounding this? Oh, she's really wanting to make change. There's a balance. It's striving for balance and change and transformation through whatever these committed partnerships, contracts are. And I feel like through it's what she knows and understands and can see surrounding maybe an aspect of fairness that needs to occur here in order to enact this change in whatever this commitment or partnership is that is occurring there. Anything else surrounding that? Okay, no, we can move on from that now. Okay, so that is Monday, And that's a hell of a lot that is going on a Monday. There's a ton of minor aspects. And just, yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to Tuesday here, the 16th. Just a few today. So we're going to have on this day Mercury in quincunx to Chiron retrograde. So let me just tune into this Mercury in quincunx to Chiron retrograde. It feels like wanting to fix that aspect of Mercury through either communication or Mercury's at home in Virgo too, so it deals with a lot of these Virgo, and it emphasizes more of those Virgoan themes of like fixing, taking care, wanting to fix whatever surrounding the aspect of Chiron, which is retrograde, so it's going over old ground, these old things in terms of where we've been wounded, and maybe in terms of our identity, self, etc. But it's these wounds of self, sovereignty, identity, or whatever that are needing to like shift here in some way. And there's that aspect of fixing. Now let me just tune into this a bit more. It also feels like there's a group of people, like a generalized group of people that maybe has been hurt, whether it's been manipulated or wounded or whatever in some way. And I initially talked about this during this Chiron retrograde. And there's this I feel like through that Aries energy, there's this desire, there's this passion to maybe help them in some way. And there's this aspect of this needing to fix it. Now, let me tune into this quincunx. Okay, so there's an awareness of wanting to fix it. It almost seems like there's an awareness of wanting to fix it, wanting to take care of it, but it's almost like it's not happening, or it's not happening right away because nobody knows what to do. It's this like, well, that has to change, but we can't do that right now, so... and that's kind of, it feels kind of shitty, really. Anything else surrounding this Mercury in quincunx? Okay, no, they're pulling me away from that now. Okay, so also we're going to have this Venus in trine to Chiron. So let me just tune into this Venus in trine to Chiron retrograde. Again, I'm getting this, she's seeing it for what it is. She knows it's this hard energy of this Leo energy. It's this very strong, almost masculine-esque feminine now that is coming through with this, that is wanting to, they can see this for what it is, and is wanting to stand up from a heartfelt place for who has been wounded in whatever way with this Chiron energy in the past. And she's almost like, no, we have to deal with this. It's like, no, we have to do this. There's positivity to that expression in terms of wanting to help fix whatever this Chiron wound is that is existing there. Okay, anything else surrounding that aspect? What I'm getting is, again, I've talked about this in a previous video, but it's almost like a feminine figure expressing in a masculine way that's willing to help, to take action, to try to deal with this. Okay. Anything else surrounding that? Okay, no, now they're taking me away from that. Also, we're going to have this Mars in opposition to Chiron as well. So let me just tune into this. Mars in opposition to Chiron. Again, I'm feeling like I'm getting this feminine energy again that is strongly wanting to take action. So maybe expressing again in that way, but it's more of in a feminine way this time, but expressing that masculine-esque desire to take action, to almost seek some kind of balance or justice. With that opposition to Chiron as she's aware. So there's an intensity of like, no, we got to do something about this and seek this. It's almost like maybe a protest kind of a vibe that's like that. surrounding people who have been hurt or wounded, whatever, in some way. But there's this desire to shift and change and take care of this in whatever way. Anything else surrounding that Mars opposition Chiron? This can almost feel like maybe on a global scale too, or related to maybe a certain group of people, or there's but when I feel this aspect politically, it's like whoever the politicians are surrounding this stuff, they don't care. They just don't care. Like they don't. Anything more beyond surrounding that. It's like there's this movement that maybe wants to occur, but the politicians don't give a shit. It's like they're maybe hearing it, but they're not going to do anything about it. Okay? Because they don't care. Anything else surrounding this? Again, I'm getting like Canadian politics again. I'm seeing Mark Carney. What about it? Yeah, it's like he's the one that doesn't care. Again, and not to be politically divisive, so what about the other ones? Okay, what I'm getting is they'll fight about it. They'll fight about it to say, oh, look, they're willing to point the finger, but they also don't care. Anything else surrounding that? Again, I'm just being drawn back to this feminine energy that wants to take action, that can see the bullshit for what it is surrounding whatever this Chiron wound is, however people have been like mistreated or whatever in some way, and there's this desire of this feminine to take action, to seek balance in some way. But again, what I'm getting is on a political level, nobody cares. Or they like might say something, but they really don't. They don't actually care to truly solve the problem. Are they acknowledging it? Like, what? Can you give me more on this? It's like there might be a blip about it, but it's almost like what I'm getting is they're just kind of like turning away from the podium to not maybe speak about it. It's like that's not on their radar. They don't care. Anything more on this? Okay, now they're taking me away from it. All right, okay, that's that. So let's move on to the 17th now, Wednesday. So on this day, we're going to have this Juno in quincunx to Chiron retrograde. So let me just tune into this now. This Juno in quincunx to Chiron retrograde. Okay, so this is dealing with maybe where we've been hurt in terms of these partnerships, contracts, etc. And there's this desire to transform and change, but we don't know how. It feels like there's action that's wanting to be taken, or action that maybe has been taken, but it's almost like it's not necessarily, it's almost like it's a fruitless effort. It's not necessarily taking you anywhere. And that's the issue, or that frustration with that quincunx, is there's this desire to transform and change based on what this wound is, or where you've been hurt, outcast, or whatever within this partner, within whatever partnership. But it's like it's spinning its wheels, right? It's like, how the fuck are we going to deal with this? This requires a more a solution that we can't see, a more creative solution that maybe we can't see. Anything else surrounding this quincunx? Okay, I think that seems like they're kind of taking me away from that now. So also on this day, we're going to have Mercury here in opposition to Saturn, retrograde now into Pisces. Okay, so let me just tune into this opposition. Mercury opposing Saturn retrograde here. I feel this strong like of Saturn, And honestly, Mercury is kind of like this cowering energy. I'm like, oh my God. What does that relate to though? Like how, okay, Saturn's like, are you aware of this? Are you like looking at this? Like, are you like, and this Mercury in Virgo is just like stressing out over like maybe what it has to deal with. What can we, it's like it can't handle it. It's too like set. Okay, what I'm getting is it's like too set in its ways. So Saturn is in Pisces. So it's dealing with this opposite of that, where it's kind of like this vastness of anything goes, but there's this mercurial energy in Virgo that's like so like da 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 that it can't see beyond that. And Saturn is like one thing I talked about with Saturn retrograde in Pisces is learning to kind of go with the flow, to go with whatever. That's part of that maybe aspect of the lesson of Saturn there, and that is that not to be so restricted in that way. And it's kind of like, are you getting this yet in some way, in some sense, with that opposition? Anything else surrounding this? It's like that Mercury in Virgo, there's almost like, it feels like an aspect of like anxiety, like you can't deal with it. But there's, what I'm getting at maybe is there's a balance that needs to occur here in terms of, maybe you can be detail focused in things, but sometimes you gotta let it go and just realize that going with the flow might be your better option. Or not being so stuck in that rigid way. That has its place, but not always, okay? It's like, have you got it yet that maybe in this situation, that's not serving you? Or in certain areas of life, that's not serving you, but that is also subject to change. That is useful. That Virgo energy is useful in some ways, but not always. But you have to, it's like time and place kind of a thing. You have to apply it in certain situations where it's valid and not into others. All right? That's kind of like, okay, what I'm feeling like is the Saturn's like, you're getting it. You're getting it now. Is understanding that not to be so rigid or so structured in that sense, but allowing yourself to kind of flow a bit more and just kind of go where the path is leading you and not be so structured or rigid in certain details in that way. Anything else surrounding this opposition? Okay, no, they're pulling me away from that now. So also on this day too, we're going to have Pluto retrograde here in quintile to Black Moon Lilith here in Scorpio. Let me just tune into this. Initially, the word I got was change. Pluto rules Scorpio. Black Moon Lilith is in Scorpio. Pluto is in Aquarius. Okay, and we're surrounding like this aspect of change with, dealing with Aquarius, right? Progress, change, etc. So let me just... The Lilith energy is very strong, saying like, yeah, you know what you got to do to change. She's not fucking around, and she's not going to mess with you, and she's being frank, straightforward, and blunt, is that you know what you got to do to do this. And it's like, no more messing around. You can't continue to avoid these things. You need to deal with it. This is more of like an awareness, maybe internally or behind the scenes in some way, surrounding that, yes, these things need to transform and change now. You cannot just continue to hold back on whatever. You need to deal with this. And Lilith energy ain't something to fuck with. Neither is Scorpio. So this is really like a very strong behind the scenes awareness. It's almost like something happening in your life, like to you personally, or it's something that's been internalized through whatever is happening to make you realize whatever that has to shift and occur. And what I'm getting with this is Pluto's a retrograde. So it's these old things that are reoccurring to come up to be like, okay, you got to deal with this because this has to transform and change now. Okay, and that's kind of what that vibe is. Anything else surrounding that? Lifting me up from it, so we're good. No more with that. So let's move on to Thursday the 18th here. And of course, this is when we're going to have Mercury now coming into Libra. Okay? So now with Mercury entering into Libra, let me just tune into this here. Mercury coming into Libra. What I get is more communication, and I feel like it's from a feminine energy, and she's mad. And it's this aspect of like seeking justice, seeking justice, really. It's almost like protest kind of an energy, but she's angry and she's like seeking justice. Anything else with this Mercury in Libra? I'm getting more of maybe an awareness of like a season change, like change of season, like into fall. Anything else surrounding that? I just get a very strong, like masculine-esque, feminine type of an energy that's willing to take action and like do stuff, really. Anything else surrounding Mercury in Libra? Oh, they're pulling me away from that, so okay. Also on this day, we're going to have Venus here. And again, that's the initial Mercury ingress into Libra. Whatever aspects that are occurring, I can tune into those in future videos surrounding how that energy can relate. But initially, that's the vibe for this ingress of Mercury there. Okay. So now, also on this day, we're going to have Venus in quincunx to Saturn retrograde. So let me just tune into this here, this Venus in quincunx to Saturn retrograde. For some reason, Saturn's like, you got this. Saturn is it feels very supportive of this feminine aspect, this feminine energy, and I feel like that maybe relates to this Saturn in Pisces, is that feminine energy is definitely aware of how to go with the flow, because that's that feminine aspect, okay? And Saturn is very supportive of the feminine energy here through her awareness, through whatever action that she needs to take as she's going with the flow and taking action as it comes, instead of dealing with maybe such a rigid structure to do whatever it is she's got to do, okay? So Saturn's like, yeah, you got this, girl. You do this. There's a very supportive vibe to this. Now, quincunx, what does that relate to? What it kind of seems like is through that support of Saturn and that going with the flow, that feminine energy is actually able to deal with that quincunx energy. It's like it's not an issue, because she's willing to take action when she feels to and when she's guided to, and through what gets illuminated and understood. And that is helping to deal with whatever frustrations that are occurring. It's like the feminine has got, what is it, a couple weeks ago, where I did a video and I titled it on YouTube, The Feminine Has Her Shit Together. It's like, yeah, because she knows to just roll with it and trust in the guidance that she's getting and take action where she needs to take action and not be so rigid in things. Anything else with this quincunx? It's like she's understanding the frustration, but she's got that support, that there's a Saturnian support that is like helping her. And she's just going with it. She's dealing with it in whatever way that she feels guided to, and just kind of like rolling with the punches, just going with it. And that's how she's able to deal with that frustrating energy. It's odd that it comes through in that way, but it's this Saturn support of this feminine in understanding herself, really, and going with the flow in that. Because I'm also seeing here that there's this quincunx here to Pluto, and so in a way there's a yod forming here, because there's this sextile to that Pluto and Saturn, even though it's kind of an out of sign sextile. And the focus here is on this feminine energy and what she's illuminating and bringing up. But through that, she knows what to take action on and what to shift and change as it deals, with that transformation and change that is occurring with that Pluto retrograde. And she's just rolling with it and being guided with it and taking action and putting in the work, etc., based on that feminine aspect, her own intuition, going with the flow, all of that. She's doing that through the awareness that she's able to see here, and then through this divine masculine support as well in this Leo energy to do that and take care and move forward and move on. Anything else with this? Okay, they're saying you can move on now. All right, so there also on this day we're going to have the Sun in quincunx to Chiron now as well here. So Sun in Virgo in quincunx to Chiron retrograde. Again, it feels like there's something that needs to be fixed here regarding this Chiron wound, but it's not working. There's something that it feels like there's a practical, but it feels like an old school practical aspect of this Sun in Virgo. And it's not working to take care of this Chiron retrograde in Aries. Those solutions aren't working anymore, and that's where that frustration is coming through. And I'm feeling drawn to almost like the South Node in Virgo energy here of what was once deemed as practical now needs to be let go of in some way because it's not working anymore. And it's kind of like it needs to get fixed. Okay, it's almost like the higher level of this Virgo energy is it needs to get fixed because that old way of doing Virgo just isn't working. Okay, anything else? This quincunx to Chiron. Yeah, it's like a new solution needs to be found in order to fix and to help to heal whatever these wounds are. The old ways aren't working anymore. Is what that feels like, and that's why there's this frustration in what you're trying to do to fix something in terms of where someone maybe has been hurt, or a group of people or whatever has been hurt or wounded in some way due to their sovereignty or whatever it is, or taking action to try to fix it. And it's not working in the old way anymore. And so new creative solutions need to be had. And that's with that quincunx energy that is kind of occurring there. Right? Anything else surrounding that now? Okay, I think I'm feeling to just kind of step away from that. And let's move on here to now there's this Mercury in opposition to a Neptune here. Okay, so Mercury now oppose a Neptune retrograde in Pisces there. Again, I get like this pissed off feminine energy, and she's aware. She's aware. What's interesting is Mars, which rules Aries, is in Libra, and Mercury is in Libra, and it's that I feel like with this Venus ruling Libra, there's a masculine-esque feminine vibe. Okay, Libra is technically, it's a masculine sign. Okay, but there's this Venus energy that is there. It's this masculine-esque feminine energy where she's willing to, stand her ground and take action and do what she's got to do, right? To seek balance and justice and that part of it. And part of that pissed off is because that Mars in Libra that wants to take action, seek balance and justice, but she's seeing like behind the veil or a manipulation for what things are. And I feel like there's an awareness maybe with that Mercury that's relating to all of this. Okay, let me just tune into this again. Mercury opposition to Neptune. Yeah, there's an awareness of what's been out of balance. And again, this is an internal. So Neptune is retrograde in Aries. This is internalizing this intuitive awareness, this seeing it for what these things actually are now. And there's this like internalization. It's like you get it intuitively. She can understand it, and she's pissed off because she can see it for what it actually is. And maybe other people don't understand, right? Or they're ignoring it. Or they're giving into a manipulation where she can see this. She knows. And that's why it's difficult to deal with. Okay. Anything else with this? She's annoyed and she's trying to talk about it and communicate it to it, but there's maybe a lot of people, what I'm getting is other people aren't understanding. She's talking and people are listening, but they're not getting it because they're not able to see beyond the veil of which she's able to see with this opposition to Neptune here. All right. Anything else surrounding this? Okay, no, let's move on. All right. We also have this Mercury now in trine to Uranus retrograde too on this day. So we just tune in here, Mercury trine Uranus. It's almost like there's an awareness here of maybe stuff that needs to change, okay? And what I'm getting again is where balance needs to occur. What needs to change and where balance needs to occur. Anything else surrounding this? There could be shakeups happening, things happening out of nowhere because that's Uranian's energy. But what that is to bring an awareness, or this could be through communication, but again, it feels like that Mercury Gemini is just an awareness in some way through bringing through that of what needs to change. So Uranus is retrograde, going over these old things, and it's pushing for this awareness for you to see of what needs to seek balance. Is what I'm getting with that. What needs to seek balance? What balance needs to be sought through what needs to actually change and occur with this? And things might be happening out of nowhere or something like that to shake things up for this realization to occur here in some way. Anything else with that Mercury in trine to Uranus retrograde there? Okay, I'm not getting anything with that, so let's move on. So let's go to Friday the 19th here. Okay, and this is when we're going to have now this Venus coming into Virgo. On Friday the 19th. Oh, it didn't shift right away for me. There we go. I was like, it's not. There we go. Now I can see. Okay. So Venus coming into Virgo. Let me just tune into this. Venus now coming into Virgo. It's kind of like she's getting her shit together. So she's dealing with a lot of detail stuff. So she's working to kind of like organize, like get her shit together, take care of things, fix certain things. Like she's got it together. Like the feminine aspect here, like she's got it together. Okay, whether that's someone that expresses as feminine, like a physical woman, or someone, or just the feminine energy within you that's taking charge to maybe help you to deal with these things. But she's got it together, and she's like taking care of business, like she's doing the stuff to take care and do what she's got to do here. Anything else with this Venus in Virgo? Again, it can deal with like a lot of stuff, like maybe some stressful stuff, but she's in it. She's in it, and she's going, and she's willing to take care of what she's got to take care of with this energy. Anything else surrounding this? She's just doing it. She's taking care of what she's got to take care of in this energy. And nothing more to that. All right. Okay, also on this day, we're going to have Mercury here in trine to Pluto retrograde. So let me just tune into this. Mercury in trine to Pluto retrograde. Okay, there's an intensity of Pluto here that's bringing awareness in terms of what needs to change to become more balanced. But there's an intensity with that Pluto energy. So, and there's an intensity, therefore, in bringing to an awareness, either through communication or whatever in some way, in order to achieve some kind of balance through whatever changes that need to occur, or transformation and changes that need to occur. There's an emphasis on this transformation in this change and these shifts and changes that need to occur. Anything else surrounding that Mercury in trine Pluto retrograde? No, they're saying that's good. All right. So also we're going to have the Sun in sextile to Juno as well on this day. So Sun sextile Juno. There's details surrounding maybe partnerships or whatever that are like, it's almost like something has been made aware, and you're looking at these things and it's like, okay, this either has to end or it has to change or be transformed in some way. There's a depth and there's a strength to this Scorpio energy in wanting to transform whatever those Juno committed partnerships, contracts, etc. are that really need to shift and change and occur here, surrounding these details that have come up or been illuminated in some way with that Sun in Virgo, surrounding what needs to shift in that. Now, anything else surrounding that? No, they're saying we're good. We're moving on from that. We also have Mercury here that will be in quintile to Jupiter. Okay, let me tune into this. Mercury in quintile to Jupiter. What I'm getting is a mix of almost like this motherly energy, and it's mixed with this masculine-esque, feminine, Libran type of energy. There's just an expansion of that. Of almost like this home-like, motherly, nurturing kind of an energy. And then there's a communication that is occurring through that. That's like, you do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. It's like this, almost like a motherly-esque school teacher that's dictating things to the children, or maybe it's like a teacher who is a mom that understands maybe how to appropriately deal with kids in some way, and that is now dictating, okay, do this to take care of that, take care of the da-da-da-da-da, we got to do this, we got to whatever. But there's this, it's odd. It's like this masculine-esque feminine with this very emotionally depth, motherly, nurturing aspect. Okay, any more to this, guys? Like, can we make more sense of this? She's aware of certain things from almost like, it's this masculine-esque feminine energy, taking care of things in this nurturing, feminine kind of a way, but she's aware of things, and she's taking care of it kind of on her own. This isn't necessarily up front, center stage or whatever, but she's seeing things that maybe are happening like in her classroom or in her whatever, and she's just taking care of it to deal with it on her own in some way. But there's this very strong, like, and get with that Jupiter and Cancer, that nurturing vibe through that. Anything else with that? They're like, yeah, that's okay. You can move on. Okay, I'll have this as well. We're going to have Venus here in quincunx to Neptune retrograde. Okay, so let me tune into this. Venus now in quincunx to Neptune retrograde. it seems like the feminine is being internally guided to fix whatever is coming up through that retrograde energy, that internal focused, intuitive, being made aware of things. Whatever she's got to fix and take care of, that's where her guidance is coming from in order to do so, to take care of these things. Regarding the quincunx, she understands that the actual guidance, she understands the frustration, but that whatever she's getting through that guidance is helping her to deal with it. It's frustrating, yes, but she's finding creative solutions through that internal focus and whatever, and integrating that to be able to move forward. Again, it feels like she's got her shit together, okay? Like, anything else surrounding this quincunx? Again, it's like, it's fine. Okay. So we've also got Mars here in quincunx to Saturn retrograde. All right, so let me just tune into this. Initially, I feel like an angry energy. Again, Mars quincunx to Saturn retrograde. I feel like this Saturn push for something. There's an odd energy here. There's, again, this masculine, this energy of this feminine wanting to take action, to do whatever, and she's understanding this. But it's almost like there's this Saturnian vibe that deals with other people or something else that is the problem. It's like she knows what she has to do to take action and balance, but there's a frustration here. What it feels like is maybe a restriction of other people. Okay? A restriction by other people. But what it is she's trying to make it aware through that, to dissolve that restriction from other people in order to take appropriate action to create balance in some way. This is like really, wow. Can I get anything more with this? Something simpler to maybe kind of try to explain this. Mars quincunx Saturn. Okay, what it is okay, the dissolution of that malefic energy is trying to dissolve those restrictions of other people to take action towards balance and change, but it's frustrating because those other people don't want to cooperate. But what she's doing, or this energy of this Mars in Libra, is taking action to try to seek balance and try to make them aware, to dissolve this energy in some way and to integrate this in some way through that. Okay, anything else surrounding that quincunx? Okay, we're good. All right. So yeah, so let's move on to Saturday the 20th here. Okay. Okay, sorry, I just got confused as to what I'm looking at. Pay attention, Mark. All right, so Saturday the 20th here, we're going to have this Venus energy now in square to Uranus. I was going to say Saturn for some reason, in square to Uranus. So let me just tune into this. Venus in square to Uranus retrograde. Okay, so it's almost like through being made aware of changes that are being made, she knows what she's got to do to fix stuff in order to make appropriate change. Again, the feminine aspect has her shit together. She's in tune, she's ready to go, she knows what's got to occur here. Okay, so anything else surrounding this? This Venus in square to Uranus. Yeah, she's taking care of the details and doing things that she's got to do, that she's got to fix and take care of in order to enact and basically in order to deal with change. It's all I can kind of describe that as. To whatever is coming to her that is surrounding this, okay, you gotta work. Okay, I'm being drawn to the fact that, oh my God, there's a complicated mess here of Mercury rules Gemini, but also Virgo. Venus is in Virgo, Uranus is in Mercury's other sign of Gemini. So there's this mercurial aspect of this communication awareness and also fixing. So whatever is, there's awareness that is coming through surrounding aspects that need to change surrounding this Uranus retrograde is what she's actually able to take care of with this Venus and Virgo energy to fix and take care of the details, etc., 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 surrounding that. Anything else with that? Okay. Also, we're going to have Venus in quincunx to Pluto. Okay. This may relate to this as well. So Venus in quincunx to Pluto retrograde here. What I get with this Pluto retrograde is, you know what needs to change. What I feel is she knows and she's willing to deal with it, but there's a frustration. There's something in the way. There's stuff in the way. She knows and she's aware and she's willing to do it, but it's like, you know, it needs to change, but there's something in the way. It almost feels like other people that may be blocking it. And that may relate to this Venus energy as it deals with relationships, people, or whatever too. But there's almost like there's other people that are in the way. And it's almost like that's the frustration in terms of trying to deal with this. Anything else surrounding that? It feels like she's able to do her best to take care of it. She understands. So that it's almost like that Pluto energy is like, yeah, we get you, girl. We know that you're trying to do this. And there's frustration here, and it's like trying to push, but this aspect is trying to push other people to kind of be made aware so that they get out of the way, because that's the frustrating part. Okay, anything else surrounding this? Yeah, it's like she's doing her best to deal with this and try to integrate it, and it's like that Pluto energy understands that and is like, yeah, we got you, girl. But there's, like I said, there's that stuff that's in the way, and there's almost like, it seems like almost maybe a higher level creative solution that is trying to make these other people aware because they have to be pushed out of the way in some way. Anything else with that? Okay, no, we're moving on. Also, we're going to have this Mercury here in this semi-square to Black Moon Lilith. So let me just tune in here to this Mercury in semi-square to Black Moon Lilith. What I get is, you know. It's this Lilith energy is like, you know. I feel like it's with that mercurial energy, that awareness. You know what exactly? So what is this surrounding? The justice that needs to be sought and balance that needs to be sought through that Libran energy. It's like, you know. And what I get with this, okay, is that Scorpio energy that is making you aware. So as I talk about Scorpio energy previously as well, that people don't like Scorpio because it makes them face what they have to face in order to transform, heal, and move on. So it's almost like this, you know. It's like that throwing in your face energy is like, yeah, you know, you've got to deal with this. And through seeking that balance and stuff. Anything else surrounding this? No, they're like, you're good. Okay, so we also have as well here the Sun now in opposition to Saturn retrograde. So let me just tune into this. Sun in opposition to Saturn retrograde. I don't know why I get this Saturn is like evil laughing at the Sun. It's like, like this... But that Sun in Virgo, okay. Clarity. there's this, okay, it almost seems like maybe that difficult aspect of Saturn is dissolving here through taking action and trying to, what this is both, oddly enough, dealing with the details, but also going with the flow. Is how we're going to deal with that dissolution of that malefic energy of Saturn. Anything else surrounding that? Yeah, it's dealing with that. It's almost like that Virgo energy, doing the Virgo stuff and also doing the Pisces stuff, and the balance that occurs with that, that is allowing this dissolution of whatever that restrictive energy is. Now, of course, that's dealing with the details, but also going with the flow. Going with the flow and the dealing with the details where you feel guided to within that flow. So when it occurs for the appropriate time within that flow to take care of the details, you do it. Otherwise, you just continue to flow and do what you have to do. And somehow with that, I then feel like the Saturn is like, good now. Okay, anything else surrounding this? Okay, we're okay. All right. So that's, we've reached the end of the week. That's this week. Okay, bring it back to me. Okay, so I'm just going to tune in here now, maybe on a general vibe, for maybe on an individual level, how this energy could be affecting us for this week and what we could expect, general level, individually. Again, the feminine is taking care of stuff. Okay, the feminine, or the feminine aspect of ourselves, or people who express as feminine. Again, I just see her doing stuff, taking care of things. Like she understands what she has to do. It's like she still has her shit together, and understanding it in that way. Anything else surrounding this? There may be a bit of frustration or upset, but she's just dealing with it. She's just going with it. She's dealing with it and taking care of what she has to take care of. Okay. On a more global, maybe economic or political level, the overall vibe of this week? What I get initially is useless politicians. Okay, what I'm getting here is they're throwing their weight around. I feel like this is more so in Canadian politics. They're throwing their weight around, but it's just so it makes it look like they're doing something that they don't actually care. What I get is that really is someone, it's a politician, and they're turning their back towards the people. Anything else surrounding this? What it feels like is because they don't want to deal with it, because they don't know what to do. It's like things are so different now that the old ways of dealing with things and doing things just don't work. They're not going to work anymore, and they just don't work anymore. So it's this, like, they're pretending is what it is. But it's not gonna result to any kind of solution or result to anything. Anything else? Anything more to this? That's all I get is, I don't know who specifically it is, but it's a male, a politician. I get this politician vibe, and just turning its back. It turn its back, and they're looking. It's almost like turning its back to the people, and they're looking at this, and they're like trying to be. They don't know. It's like they don't know what to do, and so it's like they're kind of putting up a front, maybe, to say that they're dealing with something, but they're looking at it, and they don't. then that's where I'm getting this useless vibe from. They're useless because they it's almost like they shouldn't be there because they don't know what they're too far gone in their ways. They're not, it's almost like maybe they're not relevant anymore, or they're not, it's like they're not coming up with anything useful to actually do anything to help. Anything else surrounding this? Okay, I think that's it. Anyway, this is a long ass video. If you made it this far in the video, please leave a purple heart in the comments so that I know you're a real one. And I'm going to end it here. I hope that you all have a great week. Take care, everyone. Hope to see you all in the next video. Bye.